So good evening and welcome to the Highgate Selectboard for April 21st, 2022. Our first order of business is the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all for coming. Is there anything for public comments that is not on the agenda? Sue?
Yes, one of the questions that was not here the last meeting, I was gonna bring it up, but I need to know if I still wanna do the bake sale on Memorial Day.
Mm-hmm.
I wanna know if that's still gonna be money towards the memorial, do they still need money for the memorial?
Yes.
Okay, so I just wanna get the word out, it's May 31st. I've already talked to Gary on getting 2 tables and getting 3 chairs, cause Mike and Carla Smith helps me as well with the bake sale. My biggest concern is, and I mentioned it to Heidi the other day, since voting's on April 26th, it would be nice if they can do some flyers while people goes in there to vote, to make sure about this bake sale and the money goes to the memorial. I just wanna get the word out, so I'm not running ragged myself trying to get everybody to let people know that we are still doing the bake sale. It would be a big help to me, since I got voted in as chairman on this bake sale, to do some notices and let people know that we are looking for donations, baked goods, for that day of the barbecue.
Sue, did I hear you say 31st?
Yes.
It's the 30th,
Oh,
right?
30th, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Thank you,
Okay.
Richard.
I
I've
thought
been-
I did do it in my head there. I said,
It's the
07.
31st from the other night. Sorry, correct me, Richard. So it's the 30th, yes, please. I just want to get the word out. I want to get the word out. We did, I think, one year, I think we did 400 the first year we tried it, and the second year we did over 300. And I thought that was very well for the first 2 times that we did it.
But yeah, there's still lighting to be purchased for
Okay.
the memorial, so there is
Okay?
some
Wouldn't it be
more.
nice to put in, the money goes to the memorial, so people knows where the money is going?
Yeah.
I think that's a big plus, because people really like Site Memorial, and if they know the big sales money's going to that, I think you might get more big stuff in. It's
Yeah.
just a suggestion.
And flowers and stuff that all could be purchased with that
Okay.
money.
So if you don't mind, do a notice, leave it on the table, if Wendy doesn't mind, so people can pick it up, so we can, and you can use my name, I have no problems with that.
So do you want to put together a flyer and then Wendy or Shelley
It
could
doesn't make
copy
any
it for
difference,
you?
it's just to let people know we're looking for baked goods the day of Memorial Day, May 30th. If they wanna get in touch with me, I'm willing to take anything, I know what I'm making already, so my normal fudge. So, and donations, if somebody, and I've had some people in the past that has donated money as well,
Mhm.
so I'm just doing this as a suggestion. I just wanna get the word out.
Okay, well, I believe the Memorial Day is,
May 30th.
no, I was gonna say, I believe Richard and Keith are doing that,
Okay.
so.
And it was nice last year, they went to the chicken barbecue and then they came over and got dessert, it worked out perfect. It worked out perfect, and I liked the way it was done last year.
Well, the chief said they are going to have a sit-down meal,
Yes,
so.
that'd be great, so, okay. I just wanna make sure, so I can start letting people know about this, and the money will be going to the memorial. That's all I really wanna make sure that we're on the right path. Okay.
Okay, any other public comment?
Yeah, we lost one more member off our village corps membership. He's been on too many boards, so he said, since we got so many people want to get on the board, he said he's gonna resign and from our board, and that way we can get everybody on the board that wants to be on the board.
Okay.
Cause he said he's on 8 boards now,
And that's Richard Noel.
Yeah.
so. he-
We've got some new
yeah.
faces coming in.
So I don't blame him for doing it, you know, cause he's right out there running here and there for his meetings, so. And we thanked him for being on the board too.
Yes. And we're
So
not
is that board reorganized?
No, not yet, because we figure if we can get the new members in, then we can reorganize the board.
That's
So we
right.
got 4 that want to be on the board now.
Okay.
So we got 4 on the board right now. And 4 people want to be on the board.
And we're not
We're
turn-
lucky we got 4 because it's hard to find people to do it.
It is, yep.
Yeah, we're not turning anybody down, I don't wanna turn anybody down, whoever wants to be on the board, I think we should bring them in.
Yep.
New faces, new ideas, it'd be good.
Sorry, I need to copy that. Okay, anything else? All right, so, Robert Clark will not be joining us tonight. He will be coming to our May 7th meeting, and that had to do with the Village Core Master Plan wastewater systems. So we'll move right to Wendy.
So, I don't think we can approve minutes from last time because the cast keeps changing.
Yeah.
So, I think Richard's the only one that was here last time. But you do have minutes from an executive session on the 23rd of March
Yes.
that I think, were y'all there?
Which
At least 2 of you were.
Yes, we are.
Okay,
Kyle, Vern, Richard.
okay.
Yep.
So you can approve those if you want.
Okay, so has everyone had a chance to look at the select board executive session minutes?
Yes.
Okay, can I have a motion to sign?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Okay, thank you. So we'll get those other ones next time, hopefully. Catering list, I sent that out this week. Wedding season is coming.
Yes.
And so the catering permits are gonna start coming in. The list of vendors, I put them in the SharePoint, I don't know if you guys saw it, hasn't changed from last year. I'm just asking for your permission to sign them on behalf of the town and forward them on to the state for state approval.
Okay, has everyone had a chance to think about that?
Yep.
Do we have a motion to have Wendy sign and forward those as they come in?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Thank you. I know it doesn't ever seem like spring's gonna get here, but Green Up Day is Saturday, May 7th. Household Hazardous Waste Day is the same day, May 7th. We do have Green Up bags available here, and they're also at the library. I have a stash right out by the drop box if it's off hours. And Hazardous Waste Day will be held at the sand shed location from 8 to 2 that day. Northwest Solid Waste District hosts that, so any specific questions about that, I'm gonna direct pretty much to Northwest Solid Waste, but I can forward on contact information if anyone needs it. It's not for businesses, it's for households. The Missisquoi Valley School District budget revote. Sue touched on that, but Shelley and I will be at the polls next Tuesday, 7 to 7, at the arena. Has to be at the same location as the original vote. I've sent out 178 absentee ballots. As of close of business today, I had 128 of them back, so I still have 50 out there. So, you can drop them off here at this point. If you mail them, I can't guarantee you they'll get to me in time. I need them by 7 PM on Tuesday to be counted. So the drop box, drop them off in person. You can drop them off at the polls. So I need them by 7 PM to get counted. I have John Furland and Connie Bior coming at 7 PM to bring our ballots down to Swanton to commingle with the other towns and tabulate them.
Okay.
And dog licensing is still putzing along. We sent out late notices and we've had a good response. We're light years ahead of where we've ever been in any other year, so.
Good.
I don't have too many complaints about that, we'll just keep working on that with everybody, and, you know, if it gets too late, we're gonna have to start finding people, so. That, I think, is everything for me.
Okay. Moving right along. Heidi.
I'm sorry, I just lost my image for some reason. I admitted Ty to the meeting and then my camera went blank.
It's all Ty's fault.
It's gotta be Ty's fault. Can you hear us, Ty? No, I can see he's there, but anyway, so I have a few things for you. So Robert will be here at May 7th to go over wastewater issues with you. He's trying to get some information together for that.
That'd be May 5th, Heidi? May 7th
May 7th.
is a Saturday.
It is?
Yes, it is.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so May 5th. Thank you. So I have information in your packet, but I also stuck a couple things on the table in front of you and sent them to you. The first thing you could look at is this agreement from Fuss and O'Neill.
Yeah.
And they have given us an estimate to do your constructability review for the Meishi Road. So, V-Trans has looked at this and approved it and thought that that was a reasonable agreement. So, if you approve this, we can begin the process of reviewing the Meishi Road project. And it was in your packet, so you probably won't have a paper copy in front of you. Richard, yours would be in the packet I made for you. So they will be evaluating if there is a need for additional easements or if the work can primarily be done from the road at a reasonable fee.
So the only thing I questioned was, our scope of work does not include slope stabilization analysis, subsurface exploration, or other investigations. So we as the town are relying on our engineers and the state for that, correct?
Yeah, all of that work was done previously.
Okay.
They won't really be evaluating the design, they'll be evaluating the likelihood that a contractor will be able to work from
Right.
just the road and create a road down in there, or if we need to go through the whole process of securing an additional easement from the base.
But is this, it wasn't my understanding that this was only for easements. I thought this was for the entire project.
So you're at the point where you needed to decide if you wanted to go through the right-of-way process.
Right.
And so AOT came back and said, maybe we should look at, because the reason they thought we should secure an additional easement was because they did not want to have bids come in that were prohibitive,
Right.
because, only one company can work from the top. Only one company's got big enough equipment, or mobilization fees would be too much. So the constructability review is focused on those issues.
So not the entire project.
No, it's not looking at,
Am I the only one that didn't know that? Vern?
I'm still trying to find it. I printed my package up. I don't remember reading that.
This one right here, I
Yeah, the only one.
think.
Yeah, because I was,
Here, I'll give you
I
this one.
was thinking that constructability was for the entire project and not just for easement.
They're not gonna be going into the nitty-gritty of what the project design is.
No, but, it was more, I think, on my understanding, to be a precursor to who would be able to, bid on this project, what those particular projects, entailed as a whole, not necessarily just for right-of-ways.
I agree with what you're saying. So I think the question is, you know, what companies could bid if there was only access from the top? And what would those companies charge to mobilize? Because that could be a big cost to get the necessary equipment there. So that's the focus of that constructability review.
We should have all been consultants and engineers because we would have been filthy rich.
True, true, true.
Because $16,000 to tell us whether or not they could work from the top is a lot of money. A lot of money.
Well, they're hiring.
Yeah, well,
All the engineers
might be true. It's
definitely are hiring,
Yeah.
so now's your chance to get in the business. They all have more work than they can keep up with.
Mm.
What was your question, me, sure?
Well, my question was I the only one that misunderstood that this was primarily just for right away, or was that your understanding to start with?
Reading it as we go, I see the 16,000 right now. I thought these were the people, yeah, it says that we're conducting the constructability review.
Yeah, I just, constructability review meant something different to me.
That's,
Yeah, but
yeah.
was that supposed to, now, that's the same thing that they were talking about going over into your father's, right? Are that the same ones?
Right, that was
What was
right
that
away.
part of it too? For,
Well, I think they've abandoned that part,
yeah,
and I think they're looking to only use the road surface.
Well, I wouldn't say they've abandoned it. What they're
Oh.
saying is before the town goes through that process, because it's gonna slow the project down a lot, and it's gonna cost money. Before you go to that, is it reasonable to put it out to bid without that and assume that, say, a local contractor, just taking a name out of thin air, say St. Ange gets it, they could negotiate an easement across that property on their own without having to go through the federal process of an easement. But so the question is for Fuss and O'Neill to look at the design and say, oh, there's gonna be soil nails in a wall, so this machine that they're gonna need to do that is gonna need so much space. Will they be able to get it down there? And then they're gonna be looking at, you know, if it's possible to build it from that site on that steep, can they get a road down to access it? And if so, is that going to be far worse, the cost, than going through the right-of-way process? So the image is on the back page of their assessment. Those are the things that they're reviewing. So basically, they're just looking at the project. If we don't go through the right-of-way process, what will the ultimate cost and time and energy be? Versus if we go through the federal right-of-way process to secure easements across Pines Plains, what will that mean? Time-wise, money-wise, energy-wise. So they're looking at those two issues just to help us determine, does it make sense to go through the right-of-way process? Will it ultimately result in a better price? Or are we just as well off to just put it out to bid without securing an easement from the bottom and leave that to the contractor to work out on their own if they need it? Their comment to us was, you could go through that whole right-of-way process, and then if the contractor doesn't need it, it was all for naught.
So how much of this work has already been done by other engineering firms is my question.
Well,
Any other?
should've, some of it should've been.
Yeah, so that's what I'm worried about, is we're paying somebody else to do, it's like duplicity of effort here, it seems.
Well, we have
For
had-
some of it, some of this is new, some of it I've read before, so.
We have had that issue with this particular engineer, so. And then the key to any of this will be whether or not we can convince Mrs. Young that this is the best and safest step for her property. That will be the linchpin of the whole thing. Because if she refuses, we would have to claim eminent domain, and that is a fight that no one wants. So, gentlemen, what do you think? And the other thing is, do we have the budget for this additional $16,000?
Yes.
Okay.
Does this have to be decided tonight?
Ideally, we would keep the project moving forward. It's gonna take them 5 weeks. They estimate 5 weeks to review the project and come up with some conclusion for us.
Okay, I just noticed on the signature page it is not signed, so that's what we're, okay.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
we're looking
right,
at.
gotcha.
Go forward, stop, or
Where does this, so they do the constructability review, we find out if we need extra easements to come from the top down or the bottom up to access what they need to access, and then what? Who does it go to then?
Then we make a decision, do we want to secure additional easements based on what they conclude? Then the town will say, okay, we're gonna go forward without securing additional easements, or we're gonna bite the bullet and go through the right-of-way process and try and get those easements.
and the state thinks that this is the way to go?
This being the way to go,
The
meaning,
constructability right-of-way review here?
yes, actually, they said they, can do this in big projects. They'll step back, have someone independent look at a project and make sure they've covered everything, and, you know, the companies that do big projects often can have a better view of what the costs for the contractors, the nuances of the cost will be. The other challenge is, you know, if we go forward with easements, federal funds, when they get an easement, they'd like it to be a permanent easement, so that it's much easier to go to a landowner and say, give us a temporary easement, than to say, we'd like a permanent easement over your property. It's very different, costs money, takes negotiations, takes a long time, so,
And may not come to fruition.
and may not come to fruition, so. They wanted us to check, is it possible to just do it from the top without going that route?
And this is just for that, was it 300 feet? Just that part of the slope,
Mm-hmm.
not the other
Yes.
parts that are also falling in?
Nope.
That's correct.
So we gotta do this for the other ones too?
Well, at some point,
Maybe,
something will have to be done.
maybe we'll live long enough to.
Keep on plugging.
Do we have to do this is the question.
I don't see any way around it. other than if the town just says, we're gonna go through the right-of-way process regardless. You can do that.
This is like an unfunded mandate from V-Trans, so we gotta read it, that we have to do
Pretty
this.
much.
It's
Yeah.
covered under the grant.
It is, okay, my next question is there a grant to cover this?
Yes, yes, our funding is to cover all of this design, and this is considered a good practice to, to double check before we
Yeah.
pull the trigger.
It's the,
Is there a way?
I'll wash your back, you wash mine
Yes,
sort of thing.
that's what I'm starting to figure out.
That's all it is.
Is there a way for the other parts of the slope that are failing, for them, I don't know how big is the grant, does it cover just the exactly 16,000 here and change, or can we get the grant for more and have them do this once, a
This is-
one time for the whole slope?
No,
No, this
No,
is
this is
specific to
300
this
feet.
the project we're working on.
Okay,
The slope, near the Young property.
Yeah.
This is for
just that part.
that property, it's covered under that grant to look at that specific project.
So, for this, what you're saying, Sharon, for this to go on though, the Youngs have to agree?
well, the Youngs, Mrs. Young has spoken before, and I don't know if this is still her opinion, because I have not spoken to her lately, but I was at one time her opinion that she did not want to go forward unless we could guarantee that her home would be safe. And that's not something that we can do.
Nope.
It's not something that anyone can do. But the state has assured us that this is the best possible solution of the terrible situation we happen to find ourselves in, along with Mrs. Young. But yes, she could hold up the right-of-way process, absolutely.
So,
So this would give us an option to negate that if she held up the process, give us another option.
I think you're gonna have to have her approval, no matter what.
so in other words, before we go and agree to this, we need to check with her, right?
You could start this project, this undertaking. Let them get their thing out of the way. Maybe for 16 grand, they will talk to Mrs. Young and find out.
Yep.
I don't know if that would be true or not, but I think it's one more step in the game, and that's exactly what I see this as, is some crazy game.
I didn't see 3 hours budgeted in here to coordinate with the town, we could maybe have them dedicate an hour of that to Mrs. Young.
Well, I think Mrs. Young's easement is part of the project, like Sharon was saying, either way. So it will be part of the normal right-of-way process that they would sit down and talk with her, your normal engineers. So I'm not sure it will play into this, that they would speak with the landowners. I think once you figure out where you're going, then, the Youngs will be involved either way.
So just another 5 weeks if we sign this, and then we'll have another.
Well, yeah, and you'll have another hoop to jump through, and another hoop, and another hoop, and another hoop, and when the road falls in, we'll.
Can't say we're trying, we're not trying.
No, I mean, absolutely, it's a very frustrating, slow process, and not always with the utmost of common sense.
Agreed.
But I would agree with Heidi that it's probably done quite often, and that it's a recommended process that puts you in a better light with your funders, whether that be state or federal. And it's one more tick off the list, and it is, you know, by all means, doing our part of trying to do it as correctly and safely as we can.
I'm not happy that we have to do it, I'm not happy that we have to waste another 5 weeks,
Yep.
but if it costs no money to the town with a grant, I'm fine with it. If it's another hoop, we have to jump through.
I'll agree with it. Yeah, I don't think any of us are typically, thrilled about this whole thing, but I would agree that do it, get it over with, get it moving. We're in some heat now. So, can I have a motion to sign this project?
I'll make that motion.
I'll say,
All those in favor say aye.
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 was that your copy you gave me?
It is, but I'm gonna take Sharon's original, so it's fine. You can hold on to it if you want. So let's move on to a much easier grant, a warm and fuzzy grant, your passive safety equipment grant. You should have a copy on the table in front of you. And that one is a flat $10,000 gift for anything that will reduce the likelihood of an insurance claim. And we have looked at getting a safety platform and forks for the Public Works Department so they can safely go up to look at the roof, hang up Christmas decorations, or cut tree limbs. And so along with that, we had enough left over to cover almost all of the playground surfacing material for the arena playground. So these were things that was cited in a safety audit. And so you'll only have a balance of $255 for the whole purchase. So
this is a great opportunity to let us comply with OSHA as well.
usually it's a $5,000 grant and you have to kick in an equal, amount, I believe. And so we usually do it every year, but this year they had more money, so it's a $10,000 gift, which is nice.
So any questions or concerns about that one?
Nope.
Okay, how about a motion to sign?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay,
More like that, please.
more
Yeah.
like that
Yeah.
one, this one.
Actually, them are easy.
I'll do my best. So you have your emergency management plan on the table. You'll wanna hold on to those. In the event we go into any emergency, these are all of the numbers you need. So we went through.
Trust me, it happens.
So we went through, I circulated it to departments, and Wendy dug up some more addresses for daycares for me, and we've updated the folks in the flood zone and cleaned it up a little bit. So there is an adoption form. If you're comfortable with this, we can complete that, and then we have to register it with the state, and this keeps you eligible for, one of the criteria keeps you eligible for grants.
And it allows you access to hundreds of volunteers that do awesome work, everything from the National Guard to doctors and nurses and
They were so
Um,
good in this.
so great.
Yeah.
They were gonna rescue that horse and take it down the river, I mean, it's incredible. Let's hope we don't have to do that again.
We're not doing that again. I am not going to do that again.
So do we have a
And you were
motion
living
to
down by
sign?
me at that time.
I'll make
Yeah.
that motion. Yep, well, I guess so.
Second.
Oh, okay,
Do
want
it.
me to say something or want me to second it first?
You could say something?
Okay, now, I saw there was hazardous stuff in here.
They make a list of all the hazardous sites, well, all the sites in town that have like, underground tanks, chemicals. You'll notice there's a couple sand pits in there. Because, don't yell at me, I don't make the rules, but sand is considered a hazardous material.
I looked through and I'm looking for one specialty one,
Okay.
and that I think should be in there.
Okay.
We had a fire there around 2014 or so, up the road from me.
Up the road from you?
The
Yeah.
one that's been a problem?
I don't know if it's been a problem,
Oh,
fertilizer plant.
Oh,
Fertilizer plant.
I haven't seen that in here. I think that's
Oh.
I think that one should be,
yep.
Oh, that's a really great
Where is she?
point, but I kinda think it is in there.
oh, it
I
is?
think it is, I've saw.
Yeah.
Okay, I looked through and
Dude.
I didn't see it, but
Oh, I remember that,
I
yeah.
think I remember seeing it. Boucher Fertilizer.
it's in there?
Fertilizer, yeah.
Okay, I missed,
2343 Gore Road.
okay, I missed it. I looked through it there.
No,
last
no
week.
problem.
Give her
I'm
Boucher.
glad you
Yeah.
checked.
Okay,
Yep, right there.
okay,
If there are others that come to mind, we can add them. We have to update this annually. There were a few duplications we cleaned up.
okay, I'll second it.
Okay. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Okay.
So this is your job. If there's an emergency in town, you get your butt here, and Wendy will tell you what to do.
Yeah. Divide and conquer.
Yeah, yeah, Wendy was on the phone last time,
Yeah.
pretty steady,
That was a hell of a.
checking on people, yeah.
That was crazy.
Nuts.
I knew it wasn't good when the chief was calling me at 6 a.m. on a Saturday.
Yeah, a lot of water down there.
Oh my God, I never forget, I went downstairs in that bedroom and saw my daughter 18 inches of water. And the night before, she decided to sleep upstairs.
Huh.
Don't ask me why.
Okay,
At the last meeting, the board authorized the sale of the tiny property on Lincoln Street for a bid of $5,000. And so that has been noticed. It's been posted, and I would need the select board to sign the resolution. And after 30 days, which will be up May 12th, I think May 13th, you're able to transfer that property.
okay, has everyone had a chance to look at that?
Yep.
Do I have a motion to sign?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Moving right along.
Can sign right there.
So, we had a meeting scheduled to talk with the village trustees last Monday, and that fell apart.
Yes.
And so they have offered us the date of May 9th, which is their next village trustee meeting. And, so I said I would bring that to you, but I wanted to just make sure that you're aware that is the night that they will be doing the fire department training at the airport. So if any of you were planning to go to that, then I would pick
Were
a
you
different night.
planning on going to that, Richard?
When's that?
May 9th.
Oh, yeah, I think I am, as of right now.
You-
I just gotta check.
I'm sorry,
I mean-
so you're planning on going to the fire department training, or you're planning on going to the village trustee? I didn't want to book that night if people were planning to go to the, training at the airport.
I think Kyle said he
I
wanted to
think
go to
Kyle
that too.
had
Yeah.
mentioned he was interested.
Yeah,
So maybe a different night
yeah.
would be better.
Yeah, and, okay, and so maybe we can just pick a separate night when they're not doing a meeting.
Yeah, that would be wonderful.
Okay, so I'll try and come back to you with a date that you guys aren't booked, because there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
I wanted to just give you an airport update quickly, and I put this information in front of you because Kyle Wells, the project manager from the state, called me and said he had received a couple email questions from landowners. And then Wayne LaRush called me, our new representative, and he said he had gotten phone calls. So there are things starting at the airport, and they just wanna get good information out. They will send another letter to landowners. 23 easements needed for projects that will happen on the state land as a part of the state upgrade, and those will be avigation easements. They'll need to cut some trees on adjoining properties. So they're working their way through those. They've sent some people letters. Some people haven't gotten as far through the process because they have to have every property appraised, then it has to go through a review, then they have to negotiate with the landowner. So if you are an adjoining landowner, be patient, you will get a letter. They are prioritizing some that are at the end of the runway so they can get those done. But everyone will receive a letter from the airport, and it will happen over the next year. It might be that long. And also, they wanted to just let hangar owners know that they received a letter that the grass runway at the airport is closed. It was never FAA approved, and it will not be allowed to be the alternate runway through the construction project. So those are just things they wanted to pass on, and they will be sending out another letter just to let landowners know to hang tight. There is currently cutting going on, but that's on existing easements they already had. So nothing will happen until landowners have been come to an agreement. So I think we're moving into select board stuff now.
Wendy, did you happen to have the check warrants?
No.
Okay.
I do not either.
Pretty tricky.
If she, she didn't give me anything. So, did she ask you to put that on there?
No, she didn't. I just dropped it down, and I assumed she was gonna bring it, but did she happen to have you sign 2 check warrants last time? No?
We weren't here.
Richard was the only one that was here. No, she didn't give me anything, so.
Did she send us an email?
I'm looking right now.
I'm sure
I
she
don't-
has a
I don't
plan.
think-
Usually
No.
she throws them in SharePoint too, so if you haven't seen them, then there probably isn't.
I almost think I didn't see one.
I don't see an email.
Okay.
There's
All right.
no warrant.
Moving right along.
I'm sure she's got something figured out. We'll scratch that up too.
Okay. So, a reminder, our community visit from the Vermont Rural Development will be April 26th, which is next Tuesday from 6:30 to 9 at the Highgate Elementary School. This is to follow up on the group discussions that we had at our last meeting. And we had a fabulous turnout, so let's hope for a even more fabulous turnout. Come, give us your opinions, come be involved, help us decide which things are important for the town of Highgate. So we're asking that you come out and give us a little bit of your time to hopefully make a big difference in our community. All right. And ARPA. So last meeting you signed an irrevocable option to do a full
Standard allowance.
yes. Okay. So as far as reporting, what do we need to report for right now?
Well, I'm happy to report that until you have spent money, under the standard allowance, until you have spent money, you have nothing to report.
Okay.
So I just need to double check with Shelley if there was an allocation for the rec department. If that has been spent, then that would have to be reported on. But with the standard allowance, when we decide what we're spending it on, then you will report. So it's gonna be so much easier, so much easier. So I did put a grid in there of all your big projects, and we can keep an eye on how our grants pan out. And as you see where you don't need money, then you can shift things around.
Right.
You see with all your big projects, it comes to a little more than you have.
It always does.
It always does. So, but we're waiting on grants for several of those, so, we may, we may come out of this just fine.
So, having said that, is it my understanding that that money can be used anywhere for anything?
It can be used for any municipal services, so it does cover transportation. There is a whole, this packet was in the last proposal,
Yeah, I
the
couldn't
last
quite
packet.
read the last few, maybe the last 6 pages of it, because it was all blurry on my email.
Oh, okay.
So if I could have a copy of that, that would be
Okay.
great.
So it says, what does provisions of government services mean and what is restricted? And it says recipients can use ARPA funds on government services up to the revenue loss amount, whether that be the standard allowance amount, Government services generally include any service traditionally provided by a government, unless Treasury has stated otherwise. Here are some common examples: construction of schools, hospitals, roads, buildings, and maintenance and other infrastructure, health services, general government administration, staff and administrative facilities, environmental remediation, provisions of police, fire, and other public safety services, including purchasing of fire trucks and police vehicles. Those are just examples.
Right.
Restrictions: no deposits into pension funds, no debt service or
Right.
replenishing financial reserves, no satisfaction with settlements or judgments.
Okay, so it's basically as open as before, it's just the reporting has changed.
Well, you weren't allowed to cover transportation projects before, and now you
Okay,
are.
yes,
So
yes,
that's
that's
a big
true.
shift. So I added in the Meishi Road to your ARPA project list. So you will, even if awarded all your grants, you will still have $500,000 match,
Mhm.
unless we're able to come up with some other magical funding, so
Don't we
that's a
have
biggie.
some in the capital reserve already? capital improvement?
Yes, yes, you
And
do.
we have 380 something?
Um,
Or am I dreaming?
I'm not sure, I think we put a minimal amount in this year, so I don't know if we have that.
Under what?
Meishi Road,
Says capital reserves, Meishi Road Slide, you have 414,000. Is that right? Plus 25,000 was voted in this year. So,
Okay. so we're doing good.
you're doing good, you've got about 450,000 towards that, so that's great.
And as far as I know, Shelley hasn't transferred any of that money from the rec, to the rec department.
I don't think so either.
I think, yeah, I think that's still in the ARPA fund. Transfer stabilization, have we heard anything from FEMA or the Whisper program?
Well, the transfer station we have not heard anything from the Whisper program, but we're hanging our hat on the legislature coming through with 25% match
Right.
funding for FEMA projects. And that would be a huge help.
Yeah.
May 9th is their anticipated end date, but I don't know if that will come to fruition or if it will be extended.
And anything heard on the EDA grant?
No, nope, nothing yet.
No more questions, no more anything? Okay.
Nope.
Alright. So the village wastewater, we have several key pieces that we need to
Yeah,
figure out before we get too excited about that.
it's a lot of moving pieces,
Mm.
so hopefully we can nail that down soon.
Okay. So, is there, oh, I have bad news. Richard, the Western Star is broke again.
Again?
Again.
What's,
Now it needs a turbo. They got the block welded,
yeah,
but Valancourt's thought that the bracket that was holding the turbo onto the engine might be what made it crack. But when they let it loose, the turbo's junk now. So there's the turbo on its way. So another,
how much is that?
probably by the time it gets done, it's gonna be 1,500 probably. So not good news for the maintenance account. So, but the block has been welded and it does seem to be currently holding, so that is a good thing. And I knew we were gonna be talking a little bit about the ARPA funds, and I asked Butch today, how he was doing with his gravel budget, how he was doing otherwise. He did have some concerns about being behind on his stormwater ditching and some culverts, but we also hope to see more infrastructure money from the state as well, correct?
I believe they have given the town some additional funding this year.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to have Shelley report on that, but I believe for your state aid, when you get your amount per road, I believe that there was a big bump attached to that. So where that's going, I don't know.
Because he wasn't sure if maybe we needed to have some help with some of that. And I don't know if it's just he feels he's behind or if he actually is. I thought we were doing pretty good with our stormwater
Yeah, there are two projects, that they have scheduled. So one is a Durkee Road, a minor drainage, and that's funded with the, grant and aid. The other is the Rollo Road, culvert replacement. And, I can't think of, anything else. So we're working on a Better Back Roads inventory, road inventory.
Right.
And, we've applied for 2 more grants, but, I don't think that we have anything else going on.
Okay,
So maybe he's talking about Rollo Road.
maybe just touch base with them just to make sure that you two are on the same, maybe there's something you don't know about them, do you?
What's the one they just fixed? That was on, they did something on Parent Road just now with a culvert and,
That was like a washout, that wasn't planned.
I know, but that, would that set him back?
I didn't
Like
hear
they had that
anything
fixed
about
in
it.
one day.
Yeah,
They were down one day, maybe, I think they closed the road, it was
Yeah,
like Friday night or
yeah.
Thursday night. And they had it open again Friday morning.
What about the Ballard Road, did they ever do anything there?
We've applied for funding, but we
but I
haven't
haven't
heard
done
yet.
nothing there.
Probably won't hear until July.
Okay,
So I haven't heard nothing yet. I'll have to
Okay.
do some asking.
well, just, if you would, just touch base, make sure there's nothing he's thinking out of the box or nerved up about for no reason.
Okay. Will do.
Anything else from the select board?
I'm on the V-Trans website, in case people didn't know, Route 7 between a monument, by Monument Road, starting in Swanton, all the way up to the border is
It's
being, has started, the project has finally started. It's been 22 years in the making.
Yes.
They put a new base down, aren't they, or not?
Yeah, they're scraping, it looks, I don't know what you call it when you take the top 2 inches
It's-
off.
It's all scraping, it was out
Scarified.
today, it's right up to the border, so if people don't have to go around, it's better not.
So needed.
It need that road.
Even if they leave the scarified, it's smoother than it was before.
Oh my God, it's done. Yes,
So if you have a motorcycle, be cautious, by the way.
this sign's all up.
Cause some places that road still got cement underneath it.
Really,
Yeah.
That used to be a cement road at one time, Route 7.
that's probably why it's so bumpy.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
All the cracked concrete
And
underneath.
it's dipping, so people, if they don't have to travel that way, I advise them not to go around that way, if they don't have to.
Alternate route is frontage road. Please obey the speed limit.
Cops have
That's all
been
I
on frontage road.
That's because everybody's avoiding Route 7.
Yes.
Okay, speaking of slowing down, did we ever get those slow signs that we talked
Yes.
about?
Yes, we
Okay.
did. Got a box of them. I'm not sure where they ended up. I mean, I handed them to Public Works, but I'm not sure where they put them out.
Okay.
One thing I will say, during the Highgate thing, I can grab those t-shirts and we can try to sell some at Memorial Day.
I had them out the other night. I meant to ask the group.
I know you're thinking.
They just won't go away.
Saw them there
I
today.
will try,
It's been a lot of years.
I think we can,
Free.
They're free?
I think we can hand them
You
out
might
at
be at
the
the free
event
state,
or.
boys
You
and
got
girls.
them all?
Mm.
Trivia
Good,
question?
stand up, we'll put this in front of you.
Yeah, and you should wear them on the 26th.
Look how good it looks on him. You too could be wearing this.
Dang, that looks good, Richard.
Fashion shows now.
we could try to post.
Most definitely, he ran the patio
Oh my
zoo.
God.
It's,
I never did a
I had to
squeaky
be
pig.
summer of 19.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, move them right along. No sense to store them.
So we can don't they have like floats or something like that? The library, don't they have a library? Why don't you
Yep.
take some of the shirts and have the
And
kids?
you can have a little t-shirt gun there that they have at concerts.
Right.
Do me.
Yeah.
Well, they're trying to, on the 26th, they're trying to form tasks,
Mhm.
groups, and, so maybe they want to get them to people that are
Well, that
signing up
was
for stuff.
that was another thing about the ARPA money is I wondered if as we keep going further with the Vermont Rural Development that there might be ideas in there that make a perfect fit as well. So
Mhm.
hopefully we can
Yeah.
make a few of those dreams come true too.
Mhm.
Anything else?
Yes,
You've been patient.
yeah. It's been brought to my attention, they'd like to plant a Christmas tree on a small park. So we'd have one growing that we could decorate every year instead of the wind blowing it over and wanted to know if that would be something that the board would be in favor of, or what,
What happened to the last one? We cut it down for, I can't remember why now.
There was one planted before.
There was a
Oh, I
tree
didn't
that
know.
had been donated by somebody's family. Was it Steve LaFare's family? There was something funky there?
Was it from
Sounds
the
familiar.
Cassidy?
Maybe.
Cassidy?
And we cut it down and I can't remember why, if it was because of the water line to the library
Oh, maybe
or
because they had to dig up the park every year for a while,
maybe.
because the water line was freezing.
are those trees by the monument, are they donated by somebody, the ones, that crabapple tree, and the other one looks like a brush, but are they donated by somebody or in memory of somebody, those trees there?
Are you still in the
Small park. Then are they, the crabapple tree, but the other one, it just looks like don't look very good. I don't know if we could take something up to put a Christmas tree there, or I don't want to do it if it's somebody donated or.
I would love to see a Christmas tree in the little park. Just as long as we don't, dig safe first.
Yeah.
Yep.
But if those trees there, would it be okay to take one of those down, or one of them looks like, it doesn't look very,
Healthy,
it looks like a
scrubby.
shrubby, and just a little ways from it, somebody cut the stuff down and just the roots are there.
Oh,
So,
yeah, it'd be nice to leave the crabapple, but the other
Yeah.
probably could be taken down.
I really don't know what it
Someone
is.
knows.
It just looks rough to me. I probably have to check it out, see what it is. Does it show anything, Vern, or what's there?
Let's look at something else up, but I can look it up right now, give me just a second.
You can't plant too close, cause when it gets big,
Right, yeah, I know.
then you're gonna hide the monument.
Right, that's the other thing, it was talked about, and I thought about going over, but again, it'd have to check dig safe, because I think the line,
Right.
but right where there's a bunch of stumps right there. It looked like there was brush there and they cut them down.
I don't know how current that picture is, monuments there,
I think that one's gone now. And then there's. Yeah. It doesn't look like. Talked about that and would like to paint the flagpole too before,
That's a good idea.
it looks like it needs to be painted.
Could you put the tree down more toward the hills? Then,
Toward the what?
down toward the hill more?
Yeah, you know, we'd have to look at it and see what,
That way you'd be out of the way of the water lines and stuff.
you don't wanna get too good,
Yeah,
the
you don't
road's
wanna
right
go-
there too.
Yeah, you don't wanna go too far down.
Right, yeah.
Far enough where you're away from everything.
Sorry, Ty said he can meet you this weekend. Oops, sorry. He just was on chat.
Chat.
I don't know why you don't have a voice tonight. Oops, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong thing. Where are my glasses on? Ty said I can meet Richard this weekend and look at it.
Okay.
Okay. Is that it on that?
Vern, you got anything?
We got nothing else.
Alright, so I wanna say a quick congratulations to our Highgate Public Library because they received yet another grant, one of 3 in the country. So they,
For a mobile kitchen or food cart or something.
right, they call it a Charlie cart and it's, yeah, they want to do more, cooking experiences. They do that already now, once or twice a month, and have some awesome ideas for people to try from different countries. Yeah. So, congratulations to them. It's very impressive that little Highgate, Vermont can stand out.
Go team.
Yeah.
How much was the grant, Sharon?
It was like 2,500, 3,500,
Yeah.
something like that.
Oh, good.
Yeah. And then they have put in for a $42,000 grant with the rec department. So they are hoping that they will receive that. That's the one that they received 30 grand last summer. So lots of things happening. So anything else from the audience? Okay. I would motion to exit the regularly scheduled select board meeting and enter into executive with Heidi Birch Valenta.